From Sarah, dear Andrew, Klavan with no E, but makes it look easy. With no E's, but makes it look easy. I am a 30-year-old woman living in Israel, where I've always wanted to live, and I'm generally happy with my life. 3 years ago, I converted to Orthodox Judaism, having lived as a Jew my entire life. I made a few major decisions as a result of this change, the most important of which was swearing off any premarital sex. It wasn't difficult for me because although I was pretty promiscuous in my late teens and early 20s, I was never happy having sex with men I did not love. Last week, I went to a big Shabbat dinner. I had too much wine, and I ended up going home with a man I do not like after being celibate for almost 3 years. I'm now overcome with intense feelings of shame. I'm close to tears every day. I can't sleep. Endless showers, can't wash off the filth. I do not blame the guy, but I feel like I've broken a promise to myself. More than that, a sacred oath. I feel broken. I do not know how to move on and forgive myself for what I've done. I feel as though I'm unable to change my behavior and be a better person. Do you have any advice for how to get past this? I continue to pray for forgiveness, but it's hard. Thank you. Yeah, definitely. Look, I'm not going to speak into your Judaism because I don't know enough about it. I'm going to speak from my Christianity. There are probably rituals that Jews have for repentance. But the point is this. You're already forgiven. God's forgiveness and his love for you is so much bigger than your sin. You're making him too small in your mind. You're making God too small in your mind. You're already forgiven. You can let it go. God has let it go. You can let it go. Guilt has a purpose. Guilt is like a red light on a dial that flashes on and warns you that you have done something you should not have done, and you need to make amends and to change your way and to change your ways. You went for 3 years of being celibate, and you violated that oath to yourself. When you say you broke a promise to yourself, you're right, you did. You did something you didn't mean to do, didn't want to do. Now you go forward and you don't do it again. The punishing yourself. If God has forgiven you, the voice in your head punishing you is not God's voice. The voice in your head accusing you comes from somewhere else. This is why they call Satan the accuser, right? Satan is called the accuser because he uses your guilt, he uses your sin, which we all have, to separate you from the love of God, who just wants you to move on and do what you said you would do. You made a mistake. You did something wrong. Now don't do it again. That is the reason you have that guilt. It's like a light flashing on your boards, on your dials. You fix the mistake and then you move on and you fly on. You know, I really think the one thing I think you might want to examine is the drinking. I don't know how much you drink. I don't know whether this is a common thing with you, but it's when you take a lot of wine that you make mistakes like this. And it made me wonder if that's something you do very often. If it is, that's something you ought to look into as a way of making sure this doesn't happen again. God has forgiven you. You have to forgive yourself. The voice accusing you is not the voice of God. It is the voice of the enemy. Let it go.